Hello my lovelies and welcome to another video on my channel. Thank you very much for joining me today as always. Today's video is going to be about capping the free edge of our nails and what that actually means. So I watch a lot of nail videos, as I'm sure that will be a surprise to nobody because we can always learn new things and pick up new hints and tips. But it occurred to me when I was watching it, we always talk about capping the free edge and never really explain what that really means, why we would do it, when we would do it. And I'm the same in my videos. I show them that I'm capping the free edge, but don't really go into why. So I thought I'd do a little video on that today and just to explain a little bit about it and why we do it. It's not just for the sake of it. There are definitely some good reasons for it. So first of all, what does it mean? What it means is when you are applying your gel polish, you extend your gel polish application to the front part of your free edge and the side of your free edge as well. So your free edge being that part of your nail that extends beyond your nail bed. So if you were to look at the bottom of your hand, for example, underneath, your free edge is all this nail that you can see here. Okay, it's the part that extends beyond your fingertip. So if you're looking at the front of your nail, basically, I mean, we can't see because I've got an opaque color on, but it's going to be about here somewhere. And then the rest is your free edge. So to cap that means that when we come along with our gel polish brush, we do the top of our nail and then we extend that to the full width of our free edge at the front. Okay, so why do we do that? Well, effectively what that does, there's several things, but predominantly it provides a nice protective seal on our nails. So it protects your gel polish and definitely and significantly improves the longevity of your mani because it helps you prevent lifting and it helps prevent water and other liquids from getting in underneath that edge and between your nail and the gel polish, causing your gel polish to lift. Okay, so it's a very, very important thing to do. This mani, as you can see, this is 2 weeks old actually. Yeah, 2 weeks today. So this is a 14-day-old mani, which you can most definitely tell by the regrowth. Sorry about that. They will get fixed today or tomorrow. But if you look at the free edge of my nail, that doesn't really look like a 2-week-old mani. You can see I've still got some color on the free edge. I don't really have tip wear. I have no tipping at all on any of my nails. They're just looking from the tip's point of view as if I just did this a few days ago as opposed to the top of my nail where you can see the regrowth. So it definitely helps with protect your nails, especially if you're using pure gel polish. If you don't have something like a hard gel or an acrylic underneath, if you're using purely soak-off products like I do, then it is a very, very important step because ultimately soak-off products are quite soft. They're very vulnerable to things like waters, chemicals, housework. And that's why we always say it's important to wear gloves when you're doing things around the home. But it definitely does make a big difference. I would also argue that it gives you a more professional finish to your look because when you look down the barrel of your nail, you just see the color there. You don't see a clear distinction between your free edge nail color and your gel polish. Like it just looks seamless. So I would think, yeah, to me, it gives you a more professional look. I know some people don't like that look. They prefer not to have color on their free edge. And that's absolutely fine if that is the case. But please do continue to cap your free edge. Just don't use your color coat. Just do it with your base coat and your top coat. So that's the minimum that you need to do to cap your free edge. You must do the base coat because that is what gives you that adhesion. And then you need to do the top coat because that's what gives you the protection. So as a minimum, I would strongly recommend that you do those two. But I personally do 3. I also do 1 layer of color coat. I don't do both layers. If you've seen my videos, you know I am the queen of at least 2 coats of color on my nails, but I will only ever cap the free edge with 1 coat of color because ultimately your free edge is really quite thin. Even if you've got enhancements or a rubber base like I've got, which is a bit thicker than a standard base, that's still pretty thin. So even if you have a gel polish color that's not that opaque, so we're using the black as the purpose for that, you definitely need 2 coats of this, but I would only cap with 1 coat of color. And we'll go into that as we do a little bit of a demo here. So let me go and show you what I mean by this. I've got 2 color pops here. One, I am not going to cap the free edge, and I will do my best to remember that because it's a well ingrained habit for me. And the other one we will. So we'll see what it looks like at the end result, but also from a practical point of view, what that means. So this one, we are not going to cap our free edge. So I'm just going to come in. Now, depending on the system that you use, this one is a gel polish base coat and it's a very thin one. So I would scrub this into the nail. But of course, you always want to give that final coat on the end to smooth that out. And then that would go in the lamp. Now, before I put my gel polish back in the brush, I personally would cap the free edge of my next nail. When you cap the free edge, you want minimal polish on the brush. You do not want to be flooding the free edge. You do not want gel polish going everywhere. So when you've just finished polishing the previous nail is the perfect time to cap the free edge of your next nail. Now, obviously, you can't do that for the very first nail that you do, but you can do it for the following 9. So I would go in at this point. There's multiple ways to cap the free edge. You can come in like this and just do little motions. You can do one sweeping motion. If you've got really short nails, so most of my nails are okay, but this one here, this is a pretty short nail. It's got a bit of adhesion there on the back. Sorry about that. I've been fiddling around. This nail is very short. So the way that I would approach it, rather than come from this angle, I would go from the top of your nail. Okay, so as you can see, especially if you've got a really short brush like this base coat has, the brush hangs over the edge of the nail as we're doing that. I hope the camera's picking that up. If it doesn't, still come in from the top of your nail and just go like this. The reason I'm saying to come in from the top of the nail, if you've got really short nails, you want to avoid getting the gel polish on your fingertip, on the tip of your fingertip, which is far more likely if you come in from this angle. That's absolutely fine if your free edge is long enough. If it's not, then just come in from this side here. Now you can see how effective it is. Hopefully the camera's picking that up, but you can see where my base coat is and isn't from how where the tip is very matte. So I hope you can see that on the camera. Then I would go in and dip my brush in my bottle and continue as always. Now, you definitely want to make sure you go over the edge, because what you don't want is a bulbous bit of polish at the end of your nail. So once you've capped your free edge, you want to come back in and do one long sweeping motion to make sure that you don't have a bulbous bit at the end. And I'm going to pop those in and we are going to cure those for 30 seconds and then I'll be back. Okay, so we are back. On the left, we have the tip that we are not capping, and on the right, we have the tip that we are capping. So this one does not have capping on the base coat, which of course isn't going to be very obvious on a ColourPop anyway, because it's clear. You can see straight through it. And of course, your base coat is clear as well. So we're just going to come in with this coat and we are going to put a layer down, and we are not going to cap the free edge. So one thing to bear in mind if you're not intentionally capping your free edge is that to an extent you're going to get a bit of capping on your free edge anyway, just because of the nature of the way your brush works. Okay, so here I'm not intentionally capping it, but you can see there's a couple of flecks here of the black polish, which is pretty much unavoidable. I have a hair there which we don't want, just because of the way that the brush works. So that's just something to keep in mind, and that's another reason I always like to cap one coat with one coat of color, because I find otherwise you're going to get the odd fleck here or there anyway, and that doesn't help with the professional look. So I am going to pop that in the lamp to start curing immediately, because it's black and therefore very prone to shrinking, which we don't want. So I am going to cap that straight away, which means I didn't have time to cap the edge of my free edge on this one, but that's fine. That doesn't really matter. I'll show you how a few other tips and tricks along the way. So we've got our base coat down. We're going to have minimal polish on our brush at this point. So as I said before, long nail, you can come in with this kind of an angle, or you can do a single sweep across, whatever works for you. If you've got short nails, I don't know where all these like bits of dust are coming from. Sorry, everybody. You can do what we did with the base coat as well, which is come in from the top and go over the edge like this, or from completely over the top and go this way. Any of the above is going to work fine, and I would go purely based on the length of your free edge. Now, I don't know how clear that is on camera. I can see quite clearly in person that it's quite bulbous at the end and more opaque at the free edge than it is for the rest of the nail. So that's why it's really important once you've capped it that you come in and do one other layer over the full length of the nail, because you're going to get rid of that and you're going to even out your layer once more. If you get a little bit carried away when you're capping the free edge, okay, I didn't on this one, so let's just pretend for argument's sake we got a little carried away and we ended up with some color underside of our nail, then just get a little bit of isopropyl alcohol and a cleanup brush and just dip in. Be careful not to go over the edge, of course, so you don't want to come in and go on this kind of an angle. You definitely want to just go straight under like that. Now we've got a little bit of shrinkage, as I said, which is always possible with this black. So I'm just going to go in over the top one more time. Our free edge is still capped. Even that out. And in we go before it starts shrinking again. And then I'll be back. That's another 60-second cure and I'll return. Okay, so we are back. This is our free edge that we have not capped. I'm not really sure whether you're going to see a big difference on camera. Hopefully you can, but we'll see how we go. If you can't, then just trust me, it does look a whole lot better, or it will do by the time that we've finished and top coated it. It definitely does make a difference to the look of it, but the main difference is in the longevity. So if you are finding that your gel manis are not lasting as long as they should, sorry, I've got a little bit of dust in here. Clearly I have some in my bottle. I'll try and get rid of it. If you're finding that your gel polishes are not lasting you as long as they should, if they're lifting from the free edge in particular, then definitely have a look at this and see if you can either make sure that you do cap your free edge if you're not, or maybe try some of the hints and tips that we've talked about in this video. Now, second layer, as I think I mentioned before, I only ever cap one layer of color. I don't feel it's necessary to cap more than that. And you don't want the free edge of your nail to be thick. You want to keep it as thin as possible. And of course, the more layers of gel polish that you put on it, the thicker it is going to be. So I only ever cap one layer. I haven't really noticed a difference. I've tried sometimes capping the first layer or capping the second layer. To be honest, I don't really see a difference. Comes down to personal preference. And if you forget to do the first layer, then make sure you do the second. So I think you're better off using, if you do forget and you do it twice, that's also better than not doing it at all. So either way. So they've gone off into the lamp for 60 seconds and I'll be back. Okay, and we are back. So final coat, we are going to come in with our top coat. Again, I will do my best. Try and remember not to cap the free edge of this one and just come in and give us a nice layer of top coat. Okay, so I'm not worried about my top coat shrinking, so I'm going to pop that to the side, and in the lamp, before I put this back in my bottle, I am going to come in and cap my free edge. So hopefully you can see, minus that bit of fur, goodness me, sorry everyone, how neat that looks in terms of the free edge. There's just a solid line of black there, which looks really good. So same thing, come in from the front, side sweep from the front, shorty bum's nails, come in over the top. The effect is exactly the same. It doesn't matter how you do it. Just make sure that you do it. Okay, because it's really important. It does make a big difference. Again, if you've got a little carried away, then just come in with your nail dead flat and just swipe it that way. Okay. Okay, and now we're going to come in. I'm going to go into my bottle, pick up my proper amount of top coat, and then do that. And of course, because I've already capped my free edge, as I'm doing this, I'm smoothing out the end of that nail. So it is a little bit quicker if you do it that way. I find it also means you need to go over the nail, you know, a couple of times less. But at the end of the day, you know, if this is your hobby and you're spending time and you're enjoying what you're doing, then it really doesn't make a lot of difference. It's really up to you. So I'm just going to let those cure. This is a 60-second cure, and then I'll be back. Okay, so here we go. This is the two ColourPops finished. This is the one on the left that we did not cap the free edge. The one on the right is the one that we did. So if you look from the top of the nail, I'm not seeing any difference there at all. You've still got the same beautiful shine of the top coat from both of these nails. They look the same. The difference is going to be when you look down the barrel and in the feel of the free edge. So I'm really hoping this is obvious on camera, and I can't really tell looking through the lens. I'm hoping it comes out okay. In person, there is a very real difference between these two. So this one on the left looks a bit patchy. As I said, you're always going to have a little bit of color that comes off the brush. So it doesn't look smooth. It looks a little bit patchy. It doesn't feel very smooth on feel because, of course, you've got no top coat over there to smooth off the nail. So that's beautiful and smooth on the top. The free edge just feels like a normal free edge. It's not particularly smooth. And it's not, there's no depth of color, and you don't really see bold black when you look at it in person. On the right is completely different. You see a beautiful arc of solid black, even though this is not a particularly opaque black, because it's such a small amount of nail, it looks opaque. It's very clear. If you look down from that side, you just see a solid stream of black. There's no patchiness. It's perfectly smooth. It feels perfectly smooth because you've got the top coat on the tip. So this nail is going to last you a whole lot longer. Also, this gel polish mani is going to last a whole lot longer on this nail than this nail, because when I'm putting this in water, I'm washing my hands, I'm doing my dishes, and all those things. Just everyday life, tapping the edge on things, you've got that exposure on the free edge. On this you haven't. You've got a layer of top coat, you've got a layer of color and a layer of base coat before you actually hit the free edge of your nail. And it, in my opinion, that looks a whole lot nicer in person because you just see this beautiful arc of black, the same as what you see on the top of your nail. This one, it doesn't have the same look. Maybe that angle's a bit better in the camera. This color just seamlessly comes over the edge of the nail and ends in this beautiful arc. This one doesn't. You see the black come up to here, and then it just sort of stops and just kind of looks a bit, I don't know, it just doesn't look as good. It doesn't look patchy. But as a very, or it does look patchy, sorry. As the very minimum, please make sure you just cap at least with your base coat and top coat. Even if you don't with the color, then these two are as a minimum, and your mani should last you a whole lot longer. Definitely worth a try if you're struggling with lifting at the free edge or chipping or any of those things. It is worth a try. Anyway, I hope you found this video helpful. Thank you all so much for watching as always, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!